What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski and I am back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to be going through the entire run through of the treasure map Zoro Sanji, which has finally been fully confirmed to be dropping on the 13th of August, midnight PST time, and it runs until the 17th, heading into the 18th at midnight. So it's going to be a pretty extensive treasure map, and in this video we're going to be breaking down the unit itself, as well as all of the stages, and also giving you guys tips and tricks for different teams and characters that you guys should be bringing against all of these bosses. So hopefully you guys do go on to enjoy the video. If you guys do go on to enjoy it, make sure to smack the like button down below. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So first of all, let's go ahead and break down the actual treasure mode unit that everyone is going to be farming for in this treasure map, which is going to be the dual character or double character Zoro and Sanji. These characters, when they are fused together, are a fighter and a slasher type character, and at max level, at level 99 with max limit break, he has 3,277 HP, 1,672 attack, and 377 recovery with 60 cost and 5 socket spots, all obviously being at max limit break. Now, the captain abilities of this character, obviously there's going to be 3 different captain abilities for one each of the versions of the character with Zoro and Sanji, and then one when they are the dual character. So in this certain double character, the Psi unit is going to be Sanji, and the Dex character is going to be Zoro. When you are Sanji, the Psi character, he will go ahead and reduce cooldowns by 2 turns at the start of the adventure, and also boost attack of Psi characters by 2.75 times, and then boost Dex characters attack by 2 times. However, you can switch at any time into the other version, which is going to be Zoro, and he does the exact same thing as Sanji, except he will boost Dex by 2.75 and then Psi by 2 times. So as you can see, you obviously want to be running a full team just of yellow and green characters to fully abuse this powerful captain ability. However, when you actually combine these 2 characters together by activating the special ability, they gain an absolutely crazy captain ability, which will go ahead and boost the attack of Dex and Psi characters by 3.75 times, and also makes Dex and Psi slots beneficial to Dex and Psi characters. So an absolutely phenomenal captain ability. However, the big downside to this is the fact that it is only activated for 1 turn. In comparison to some of the other double characters that we've had, I think with Luffy and Ace, it is a 3-turn activation, and I think with characters like the Smoker and Tashigi, and the Crocodile and Dad's Bones, I believe they are 2-turn boosts. So with this one, unfortunately, they did have to balance out this really strong free-to-play character and make him a 1-turn captain ability, which is definitely quite the downside to this character. However, the special ability of this character is also quite good, starting off at 39 turns, and when you skill him up and also get him to max limit break, he goes down all the way to 16 turns, and it will deal 30 times this character's attack in typeless damage to a single enemy, and it will also go ahead and go through barriers with that damage as well, so it's quite good for enemies with not much HP but have a barrier, so that's quite good. And also, he will boost the orb effects of Dex and Psi characters by 2.25 times for 1 turn, and also becomes Zoro and Sanji for 1 turn as well. So a great orb booster, being 2.25 boost only to 2 separate colors though. However, when you are using him as the captain, this is obviously going to be such a really powerful ability to use when you just really want to abuse either Dex or Psi characters. And one last final thing to note is the fact that when you do switch between either Zoro or you switch between Sanji, you have the special double character swap mechanic that will be activated. Each double character, when you switch between the characters, will activate some certain special ability. And what happens here when you switch between these 2 characters is that they'll go ahead and randomize all non-matching orbs on your crew, and also add 0.5 times to the chain multiplier for 1 turn. So the most ideal way to use this character is to swap between Zoro and Sanji, then activate the special ability to combine into the dual unit, and that allows you just to get a 0.5 chain boost for free. However, because he is a chain booster, you typically do not want to be running any chain lockers, because that can really hinder the damage because you want to be utilizing the 0.5 chain boost, but either way, it is still a really good mechanic that you do have access to just by simply swapping the characters. So now that we've gone ahead and talked about the unit, let's discuss the bosses for this treasure map. The first of these bosses is going to be against Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine. So Mr. 5 is a quick unit, however he does become a dex unit in the middle of the fight if you activate a special ability that will activate a beneficial orb buff, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So Mr. 5 has 340,000 HP, and I'm not really too sure about his actual health and attack boost, so you know, that I'll leave that as it is, but I'm not really too certain if it's the exact same as Miss Valentine's. Miss Valentine is a strength unit, and she has 220,000 HP, and she gains 26,400 at the end of every navigation level, and her attack power is 2,800, and she gains 168 attack power per navigation level. Now, the preemptive attack when you enter this room is the fact that your crew slots will be changed to non-matching or negative orbs, and your orbs will be locked for 10 turns. And also something to note as well is that under 20% health, they both do something negative. So Mr. 5 will go ahead and boost his defense by 300 times, and also buff his own attack by 1.5 times. And then Miss Valentine, under 20%, will make it so that 2 units will be chained for 5 turns. So you definitely do not want to get either of these characters below 20%. So here is my suggested team or suggested characters that you guys should be thinking about bringing into this fight. So I would highly suggest to bring a team that has at least 27 combo hits, or to use a character that has a barrier pierce potential ability through their limit break. And the reason for that is on stage 6, you will encounter Miss Father's Day, who has a barrier but has like no health whatsoever. So in order to actually break through their barrier, you have to deal at least 26 combo hits to break the barrier on stage 6. So I would bring a team with 27 combo hits, or if you have a character that has barrier penetration or barrier pierce on their potential ability, it just completely bypasses it, making stage 6 extremely easy. Now, also another thing is that Treasure Mode Ace does also make this fight reasonably easy, because as we mentioned before, Mr. 5 will become a dex character when you activate a special ability that enables enabling or beneficial orb buffs, essentially. So, utilizing Ace, he makes strength orbs beneficial for your crew when he's the captain or your captain is free spirit. So by utilizing Ace, you can make the quick character become a dex character, and obviously when you're using Ace, it's going to make him a lot easier to take down. Also on the bottom here, you can see some suggested characters. I've also listed Raid Frankie, and the reason for that is because not only is he a type booster, but he also has really high combo hits. So he can allow your team to reach a really high combo hit ratio to break through the stage 6 barrier if you guys are still really lacking some high combo hit characters. And also Treasure Map Give 4 is quite nice because his special ability alone, even though it gives you really good affinity, which is good, the fact that it actually does so much goddamn damage to the enemy is going to be also very, very key, and making it a lot easier to take down these enemies. The next of these miniature bosses is going to be Brook and Pedro. So Brook is a quick character, and he has 450,000 HP initially, but he gains 81,790 per navigation level, and his attack power is 2,800, gaining 271 attack per navigation level. And the next unit is Pedro, who starts off as a Psy character. However, with his preemptive attack, he actually becomes an Int character, interestingly enough, and Pedro actually just does not gain any HP whatsoever. He will stay at 80,000 HP every single navigation level. However, his attack power does increase every navigation level, and that is also very, very important to note. Now, the preemptive attack when you enter this room is you're going to get a 4-turn paralysis inflicted on your crew. So you need to have someone on your crew, or people on your crew, multiple characters on your crew that can remove that, but we'll go through some characters that are going to be very, very useful for this. Now, also as well, Pedro, he applies a 2 orb Psi barrier. So this means you have to attack him with 2 Psi orbs before you can break his barrier to kill him. Now, we'll go through once again a character that's going to make this extremely easy. Also, at the end of the first turn, what will happen is that the enemy side of the field will get a 100,000 HP recovery, and they will also enrage as well, which lowers their attack cooldowns and also does increase their attack slightly. Now the big thing here is when you eventually kill Pedro, he will deal 0.75 times his attack power as damage to your crew. So you can see that his attack power does increase with every navigation level, and that's very important. You do have to keep track of that, because as his attack power increases, every time you kill him, he will start to deal more and more death damage to your crew every time you take him down. So moving on to suggested teams and characters here, this team utilizes a V1 6+ Law team. Now the reason why Law is highly suggested here is because you can activate Law's special ability, which does side damage through barriers, to instantly defeat Pedro every single run. So this is definitely the suggested team that I would suggest to you guys by utilizing V1 Law. Now if you do not own V1 Law, you can still use a friend captain V1 Law, and that will still be able to take out the enemy Pedro. Also, another character that is going to be extremely useful for this fight is going to be the brand new Luffy Ace Batch Rare Recruit Little Oars Jr. This character has a special ability that removes 3 turns of paralysis, and also actually applies a conditional boost if your captain is a slasher. This is why having V1 Law as your captain is going to be great, because then you can bring someone else on your team who is a delayer. On this team composition I show here, there is no delayer on the team. That would be your last position to fill in. And that's really good because you can actually apply a conditional boost which allows you to deal lots of damage to the enemy, but also the fact that he reduces 3 turns of paralysis is great, but you guys might have seen it's a 4-turn paralysis on your crew. The great thing about Oars is that he has a crewmate ability that will remove 1 turn of paralysis on your entire crew, meaning that just with Oars alone, you'll be able to completely remove any type of paralysis that Brook is going to put on your crew in his preemptive attack. Now, the last unit I've kind of suggested here is just another high boosted unit, the rare recruit Miss Valentine that came out in the last treasure map. She's quite good because she also is a 3-turn paralysis reducer. She does not have the sailor ability like Oars, but is still going to be quite nice in getting rid of paralysis against this stage. Next mini-boss is going to be Usopp and Chopper. Usopp is a Dex character and he has 410,000 HP and he gains 49,200 HP per navigation level. And then the next unit is Chopper, who is a quick character and he has 550,000 HP, gaining the exact same values as Usopp per navigation level, and his attack power is only 1600 and he also gains the same attack power per navigation level. Now the preemptive attack of this specific room will go ahead and give you a 2-turn 90% attack down inflicted on your crew. There is a debuff protector on the enemy side of the field, so you cannot delay them and you cannot reduce their defenses, you cannot poison them. Also, your top row will get their slots sealed for 10 turns, and you are also targeted to Chopper for, I think it's 10 turns as well. So there are a lot of different debuffs that you really have to try and get around on this specific room. Also, every single turn, Usopp will go ahead and randomly bind a unit on your crew for 5 turns, and Chopper, when he falls below 50% health, will go ahead and deal 2 attacks actually to your crew. Now, you see 1600 isn't really that much damage, but as you go through the treasure map and have high navigation levels, you know, you're probably going to get Chopper below 50%, and obviously the higher the navigation level, the higher the attack power of Chopper, meaning you're going to be taking more damage. So you do have to be very careful with Chopper because you are targeting him first with the target ability. So yeah, you do got to be careful about that. Do not get him below 50%, otherwise you're going to be taking a lot of damage. For recommended units and crew that I would suggest here on this specific fight is going to be mainly centered around the Luffy and Ace Sugofest badge. Now, on stage 6 of this fight is not stated before, but on stage 6 you do encounter a miniature boss being Robin. Now, what Robin will do is she will actually special silence your entire crew for 3 turns, and this is where Coliseum Rayleigh is super duper key, because with his special ability alone you'll be able to completely unlock your crew from the stage 6 special bind from Robin, and yeah, Rayleigh's going to be exceptionally useful here. Also, bringing an attack down reducer on this stage is also going to be quite helpful, which is why I would strongly suggest bringing the brand new Strength Rare Recruit Marco. And also, Luffy and Ace is quite a nice character to use as the captains because their swap mechanic will mean that you do not have to really worry about the slot bind that are placed on your captains. He will completely remove them. Obviously, you don't have to have Luffy Ace as a captain, definitely not a requirement, but you can run a Luffy Ace friend captain, and it does definitely make this specific stage a lot easier. Now, the last of the mini-bosses is going to be Coby and Helmeppo. Coby is a quick character, and he has 400,000 HP, and he gains 48,000 HP per navigation level, and his attack power is going to be 4,000, and he gains 240 attack per navigation level. And then the next unit is Helmeppo, who is an int character, and he starts off only at 120,000 HP, and his attack power is 3,200, gaining the same HP and attack per navigation level as Coby. Now, the preemptive attack here is quite interesting, as all of your crew slots will be changed into recovery. There is a delay invalid on the enemy side of the field for 98 turns, and also 50% damage is dealt to your crew, so you have half the health that you had when you enter the room. Also, something to note is that when Helmeppo dies and Coby is still alive, Coby will fully heal himself, and also he enrages himself and also gives himself an attack boost. So I would highly suggest to take down Coby first as the main target, because he obviously does more damage, he has more health, and is definitely more threatening, and then you can focus all of your attack power down on Helmeppo. Helmeppo does not really have much health at all, so he is extremely easy to take down. So now moving on to recommended characters and crew, I would highly suggest bringing the Zunisha ship. Obviously, because the preemptive attack gives you a full board of recovery orbs, utilizing the Zunisha ship will mean that all of those orbs are automatically counted as beneficial as long as you are running a team of Cerebral and Powerhouse characters. So I would suggest a Cerebral team utilizing Treasure Map Sabo, because he is a 1.35 point booster. That will allow you to get a lot of points by utilizing the double Sabo captains, and then the other characters are just whatever you really want to run. I actually would highly suggest bringing the rare recruit int Pedro. The reason for that is because he reduces your crew's health all the way down to 1 HP, and he also provides an orb boost. Now, the reason why this is good is because when you enter the room, your crew HP is actually halved. Now, that means that Sabo as a captain does not have his chain boosting mechanic added. His chain boosting mechanic will only work when his health is either above 70% or below 30%. So Rare Recruit Pedro is going to be quite useful for this fight if you are using Sabo as your captain. And then the other units can really be anything that you really want, as long as it is a Cerebral unit that is going to be boosted by Sabo, and that will allow you to kill this fight a lot easier. And now we've finally made it to the final stages against Zoro and Sanji. So on the 5th stage of Zoro and Sanji, you have to fight the solo unit, which is going to be Zoro. Zoro is a Dex character starting off at 250,000 HP, and he also starts off at 6,200 attack. Now, unfortunately, I'm not really too sure how much HP and attack he gains per navigation level, but obviously it will increase every single run. Now, his preemptive attack will change your crew slots into either recovery, tandem, or empty slots, and also under 20% HP, he's going to cut your crew's HP in half. So that's something to note there. Do not get him below 20%, you don't want to be taking too much damage, and also by utilizing a character that can change some of those orbs, it will obviously make this fight a lot easier. Immediately following the Zoro fight on stage 5, we have Sanji on stage 6. Now, Sanji is a Psy character, and he has 300,000 HP, and he also has 3,800 attack, and unfortunately, I don't really know how much HP and attack he gains per navigation level, and his preemptive attack will change, or not really change, but give you a 5-turn bind to your top row characters. Additionally, all of your orbs on your crew will be changed into block orbs, and he also has an 80% damage reduction shield on his side of the field. And under 20%, Sanji will blow away 3 random crewmates. So again, once again, do not get him below 20%. Like, you can get Zoro under 20% and it's still fine, you can still win, but if you get Sanji under 20%, you will instantly lose your fight, so do not do that. And definitely with this guy, with Sanji, he's like way more annoying to deal with in comparison to Zoro. The fact that he has an 80% damage reduction, he gives you all block orbs, as well as even with sockets alone, you can't get rid of that bind. However, the new treasure mode rare recruit Monet is going to be quite useful for this particular round, as she'll be able to unbind your crew, and it's going to be quite useful in this fight against Sanji. And now we've made it to the final stage, which is against the final boss, Zoro and Sanji. Now, this unit, luckily enough, is just a Sai unit, and his health starts off at navigation level 1 at 1 million, and he gains 120,000 HP per navigation level, and his attack power is 4,800, gaining 288 attack per navigation level. Zoro and Sanji's preemptive attack will go ahead and rewind the special abilities of your top row characters by 2 turns, and also lower the cooldowns of your middle row characters by 1 turn, and also they put up a delay protector for 98 turns. Now this does mean that you can still use defense down conditional boost, which is going to be quite useful. If you don't want to run Sabo against another boss, you can run treasure mode Sabo on this guy right here. Also, under 50% and 20% HP, they will deal 2 times their attack as damage to your crew. So once again, you know, you're just going to be careful not to get them below certain thresholds if you don't want to under certain conditions. And also there is an interrupt on this stage that you do have to take note of as well, is the fact that if you do activate an orb boosting special ability, you will be hit with a 5-hit good barrier for 1 turn. You have to get around that in order to, you know, you basically just don't bring an orb booster. So you have to rely on color affinity, you have to rely on type boosts, you have to rely on conditionals, and, you know, chain boosts and chain locks. Those are really the only ways you can get around this. Do not bring any type of orb boost, or it's going to be a bad time against Zoro Sanji. So some of you might be wondering, why isn't there a recommended team or characters for the final boss? Well, that's basically just because the main ones you want to bring are the treasure mode rare recruit units and the newest legend. I mean, it's pretty plain and simple like that, but in this little clip here, we're going to be going through all the teams once again, and I have the most optimal team suggested, and also another team that you guys might be able to build as well for Zoro and Sanji. So going over the Mr. 5 and Valentine boss again, we have the double treasure mode ace team. This will enable you to make the Mr. 5 become a dex unit from previously a quick character, which is going to be quite good. And also the 2 Fortnite units, I don't think I really mentioned them, but if you activate the special abilities of these 2 Fortnite units, they'll enable you to get a conditional boost for free, which is very, very nice. So those 2 guys are definitely recommended. Now, you got to make sure you bring a unit on this team that has either barrier penetration, limit break ability, or you have your whole team at least be 27 combo hits in order to deal with stage 6 overall, and that will enable you to kill this boss a lot easier. The next team is going to be the Brook and the Pedro team. As we stated before, Pedro has that 2-hit Sai Orb barrier, and by utilizing V1 Law, his special ability will instantly kill Pedro every single run. So that's why I would highly suggest bringing that character, even as a friend captain if you don't own your own one. And also the new Sai rare recruit Little Oars Jr. with his special ability and his upgraded sailor ability, you'll be able to go ahead and completely remove all stages of paralysis on your crew against this fight. And then on top of that, you just need to bring some orb manipulators and an orb booster or whatever, any type of boost in order to deal damage against Brook himself once you already take down the Pedro character, of course. The next team is going to be the Usopp and the Chopper stage. So with this one, we have Coliseum Rayleigh on the team, which completely deals with the stage 6 mini boss against Nico Robin, enabling you to get through that extremely easily. And then on the final boss against Usopp and Chopper, you do get given a 2-turn attack down. So this is where the Marco is going to be exceptionally helpful here, enabling you to not only just get a chain boost as long as you have the 3 red characters, but to remove the attack down, of course. And then Luffy, Ace, you can use those guys as your captains to get rid of the slot bind placed on your top row. Obviously, you don't have to have your own one. You can still utilize a friend captain one, and it will still be quite good. But as long as it is a free spirit related team, utilizing Marco and Rayleigh, it is going to be very, very good in taking down this fight. And the last of the mini-bosses is going to be against Coby and Helmeppo. This is the one we just talked about, and this is the team I suggested. I'm not really too certain how many other people are going to be using this type of team, but this team will definitely be able to take down that boss for an extremely long time, utilizing the double Sabo captains. Remember though, when you actually enter the room, your health is cut in half, so you have to utilize some special ability to get above 70% or below 30% in order to activate the full capabilities of Sabo's captain ability. So in that example, I'm going to be bringing the Pedro character, the rare recruit Pedro, because his special ability not only will get us below 30%, but is also an orb boosting mechanic as well. Now, the main reason why we're bringing a Cerebral team in general is because we want to be abusing the fact that we get given a full board of recovery orbs at the start of the fight, meaning that it's a full board of matching orbs with the Zunisha ship, and with Sabo we get, even if it wasn't, you can get more matching orbs with Sabo, and also the fact that Sabo will provide a conditional boost, you get the orb boost already from Pedro, and just basically you want to be running Cerebral characters with this team, and you'll be able to breeze through that fight reasonably easily. And now we're going to be discussing two different teams against the final boss, Zoro and Sanji. So this is the most optimal team for points and also damage that you could possibly build that I've seen so far. So utilizing, obviously, V2 Shanks captain, with utilizing a friend captain that is the 2x point booster Kuma character, as well as utilizing your own 2x point booster Kuma sub, along with the new Treasure Mode Rare Recruit Monet, Treasure Mode Rare Recruit Boa Hancock, and also Kung Fu Luffy. All of these characters on this crew are all 1.35 boosters or above, and the way that this team will actually function is you want to be using Kung Fu Luffy probably on the Zoro stage, on stage 5. You want to use Monet and Boa on the stage 6 Sanji, and you could possibly use one of the Kuma specials there as well. And then on the final stage, you're going to be using the Kuma and also the Shanks' special as well. Shanks' special is going to be quite powerful against the final boss as well. And this team should be able to work for a decently long time. I would say at least close to level 30, if not above level 30, this team will be able to take it on still. And obviously with that multiplier, why wouldn't you be using a team like this? It is extremely powerful. And the other team that we're going to be suggesting is actually a Kung Fu Luffy team. So the last team being the Kung Fu Luffy team, utilizing a friend captain that is V2 Shanks. Now, you don't have to run a friend V2 Shanks, but it does make the fight a hell of a lot easier if you are using a friend V2 Shanks. Obviously, the other rare recruits in this team are going to be the Treasure Mode units, because the Treasure Mode units do help out against the boss a hell of a lot. And the other unit here is going to be 6+ Jinbei. Now, his special ability is quite good for the Sanji stage, as it will completely remove all of the damage reduction that Sanji puts up through his preemptive attack. Then the final space there is kind of just like a filler spot. You can pretty much put whatever you want on this team. But yeah, this team I would actually highly suggest if you like have everything except for Shanks. I would definitely use this team. Even if I didn't pull Shanks, I would probably be using a team like this as well. Another unit that you could use as a captain instead of Kung Fu Luffy would be a unit like maybe V2 Rayleigh. You got to be careful with Rayleigh though. You're not supposed to be using an orb boost on that stage against Zoro Sanji. But for his captain ability, it is actually still pretty good. You can get some nice damage output with V2 Rayleigh, and I know he's not boosted either, but you can get some good damage output. But it really does depend on what units you have and what other teams you are building around this. This specific example right here is probably just some of the most optimal team compositions that you can come up with that will enable you to take on all of these boss stages. Also, something to remember with this treasure map is the fact that you cannot use the same team against a mid-map boss as you did on the previous treasure maps, because they have changed it now that when you take out a mid-map boss, the team that you use to take out that team in the mid-map, you cannot use those characters again, and you do not verse the encounter bosses at the final battle rush stages. Except if you're on East Blue, you can use whatever team you want. There is no restrictions now for East Blue, but you do have to be very, very careful with your team compositions nowadays as we move further on into One Piece Treasure Cruise. And that is going to conclude this video, guys. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully it helped you out a lot. This video did take quite a long time to create, so if you guys did enjoy it, I do appreciate it if you smack the like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.